panic, we're in over our heads again. We know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Coffee Shop Show, where we talk to entrepreneurs about entrepreneurship all over the world. So my name is Sondra Ray, and I get the privilege to co-host with the amazing Peter today. And we are going to talk about market research. This was a very popular topic 2 weeks ago, and we're going to dive a little more in depth with that because Peter is our expert of this for today. Hi, Peter. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, Sondra. Thank you so much. Would you like me to jump straight into the topic? Because I'm sure everybody out there is waiting with bated breath. I have written a blog post on this topic. It's I must say, when you write about a topic, you get to dive really deep into something that you kind of just skim over the surface usually, because you have to investigate. And then obviously you have to put your own spin in it. Otherwise it's not unique. It's not different. It's not, there are a lot of people saying the same thing, regurgitating the same information. So when you want to look at something, looking at it from a different perspective will create a different point of view. So I really hope that this gives you a different perspective on market research. I know that it's something that when I used to hear the word market research, it was like, oh my goodness me, it's like this big scary monster. Oh my goodness me, we have to do market research. And then the question is how and where and what are we actually doing? What is the process? And I'm here to tell you that it's actually simpler than it sounds. It's a lot simpler than it sounds. So generally, market research, we're doing this for a product or a service. Something I want to clarify is that we need to understand what is a product or a service, what is it designed to do? Number one, in my brain, it's designed to solve a problem. There is a problem, our product or our service is designed to fix said problem. Something we need to understand is that the problem that it's fixing is not our own problem. It is somebody else's problem. So if we're looking at your product or your service, don't think that you know that it solves a problem if people aren't telling you that it does, because then you're just trying to sell something that nobody will buy. So we need to know that it solves a problem. We need to know that your service solves a problem or that your product solves a problem. How do we find out if it does? Very simple. You ask. It's one of the most simple concepts on the face of the planet. So what we need to understand, and often as entrepreneurs, we think we know better. We create this amazing product and we push it to market because it solves a problem we have. But we're not trying to solve our own problems. We're trying to solve everybody else's. So everybody else's opinion matters, not our own. Because otherwise we're going to sit with a product we're just going to buy for ourselves. Makes no sense. Absolutely zero. So their opinions matter. You want their opinions. a good question would be, who's they? So we're solving a problem. Our product is solving a problem, or our service is solving a problem for them. Who's them? We don't know. We have to figure that out. And that's when you hear the saying, our customer avatar. Everybody wants to know, who's our customer avatar? Well, it's our customers. We need to figure out who our customers are, our ideal customers. I'm not going to dive into that right now. I'm pretty sure that will be a topic coming up. If it's something you don't know how to do, we can have a conversation, and we can have a conversation about that another time. But right now, we're talking about the market research. So as entrepreneurs, we know time is money. So how do we take multiple processes and add them together and leave with multiple outcomes in one space, doing one thing and having multiple outcomes? Because we don't want to separate everything and then take every single step. We want to do one step that solves multiple problems. So I've taken a look at market research in a very different way. What we want to do is we want to surround ourselves with our ideal customers. We want to ask them their opinions. We want to know what they think. We want to know, does our product work for them? If our product does not work for them, we want to know their opinion. Why does it not work for them? How can we change it that it does work for them? Now, when you surround yourself with your ideal client and you're asking these questions and you're getting answers, don't be on the defensive. Oh, my product is great, it solves everything. No, listen to what people are actually saying about your product. Utilize that information to perfect your product. Because the moment you have done that, your product is then ready for market. And you know who you're selling it to. These are questions that need to be asked, and you need to have the answers to these questions. Otherwise, do not go to market, because you don't know if your product works, you don't know if it solves the problem, and you don't know who you're selling it to. Now, when I say market research, a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to go online and I'm going to investigate other products. Yes, that's part of the process. Or I'm just going to go and check out this company and see what they do. Yes, that's also part of the process. But what you need to understand is that you're dealing with people. You're not selling to other companies. You're selling to people that have problems that you need to solve. So the only way to get that information is to actually speak to the people, actually ask the questions. We're right back to the simplicity of it. Just ask. When you're asking those questions and you're getting answers. Now, here's a little trick, right? If I want to sell my product to somebody and I have a conversation with them and my product doesn't quite line up with what they need because they have an opinion and it doesn't quite solve their problem, and they become part of my journey to perfecting my product, let them know. Let them know that they are part of your journey. So you should be speaking to your ideal client before you're sending your product to market. You should be asking all the relevant questions. And then based on the engagement, when you start changing up your product, you now have a space where you can actually talk to your ideal client and go, oh, because of you, I changed this. Do you think this will now fix your problem? Do you think that this is now a product or a service that you would need? Because you were part and parcel of making sure that my product actually works for people just like you. And you can include unlimited amounts of people in going through this process. So when you're building your product, include people's opinions, because it's not about yourself, it's about them. You're building it for them. So if I can just break it down in a couple of statements. What is your product designed to do? We are solving their problems, not our own. Their opinion matters, not our own. Our products are for customers, not us. Now, how do we do all of this in one step? It's all these things We need to speak to people. We need to get their opinions. We need to have feedback. We need to research our product. We need to research other products. Where can we do all of those things in one space? This may be a little bit of a backwards way of thinking, but I am backwards. Literally, I'm dyslexic. Everything's backwards. Networking. Networking 101, the basics. Step into a space that, and obviously you're going to have to research different networking spaces, but step into a space that your ideal clients are all around you. Network, build relationships, putting your information out there and asking the relevant questions to get the relevant answers is now done in a networking space with people that you are getting to know and they are getting to know you. Getting your answers becomes just that much more easy. I think if I had to put a product to market now, I've got an entire network of people that I can go, what do you think? What do you think? What is your opinion? What would you change? How does this solve your problem? Does it solve your problem? If it does, great. If it doesn't, why not? In a networking space, that becomes so simple. So the one-step space is actually a networking space. A lot of people look at networking spaces and they're like, oh my goodness me, waste of my time. Well, that's because you're not being strategic and you're not killing many birds with one stone. So networking is not for the faint of heart. You have to step into a space. You have to be vulnerable with people. This is my product. It's like taking your heart and just putting it on your sleeve. This is my product. What do you think? You'll notice that a lot of products out there, and you could use anything really as an example of people that go, this is my product. It is the best. They've done no research. They will sell for a limited amount of time until people realize it does not solve their problem. They may have marketed it correctly, but it'll only get bought for a period of time until everybody tells everybody else, this doesn't fix the problem. It's just a Band-Aid. Do your research, make sure that you're solving a problem in such a way that when people speak about your product, they're like, oh my goodness me, I bought this product, I had this problem, now I don't. That's what you want. And you want to include as many people on your journey as possible. So I hope that's whet your appetite for market research. I know that we've covered it from a very different angle. Instead of going online and just checking out businesses and checking out what other people are selling for, other people are not you. They're not you, and you are not them. You want to approach the market in a very unique way. Try something different. Actually network. Actually ask the questions. And if the people that you're speaking to can't answer your questions, ask them to introduce you to the people that can. It's really simple. So give it a bash. And you know what? And take that concept and modify it. My way is not the only way. There are millions of ways if you look at it from a different perspective. Take what I've said, modify it to suit your needs, and step into the space and have fun with it. Then it becomes less daunting. It's not as scary a monster as when somebody goes, go and research and do market research on this product. All of a sudden, it's not as daunting as what you thought it was. And you can actually have fun with it. And you can get the information you need, because we all know information is key. The more information we have, the more authority we have in that space, the more we can change, the more we can modify, the more we can actually solve a problem. So have fun with it. Sondra, back over to you.
I like that perspective, Peter. And like you said towards the end there, that there is more than one way to do it. You can be methodical and by the book, or you can be networking. And I was asking on YouTube, shout out to Gareth, Mr. L, Hendrick, over on YouTube land. I was asking have they done it this year? And, people are like, no. And I said, I think I'm doing it, but I'm doing it in a different way. So mine is I'm getting ready to host my first ever paid workshop, but it's been offered in the past. So what I'm doing is I'm asking testimonials about the past workshops, which is showing me the value that they have gotten out of the workshop. What did they like? I always do a survey on every workshop. I send them out ASAP. And some people fill them out and some people don't. But I actually reached out to get solid testimonials for the sales pages and social media and all that stuff. And it's really showing me what people wanted, got out of the workshop itself. So I think that's one way to do market research. Would I be right? Like, I'm talking to people about what did and didn't work in this workshop that I'm repeating, because it's quarterly review that doesn't go away ever. So that's what I'm doing. So that's market research, right? Am I labeling it correctly?
100%, 100%.
Okay.
It's all part of the engagement, because if you create a space where you can engage with those around you, and as people are experiencing your product, you want to know, did this solve your problem? Did this increase the value of your space? Did this make your life easier? And you want to know if it didn't. That's very important. If it didn't do those things, I want to know why. Why didn't it do those things? So asking those questions is part of your strategy of keeping in line with, is my product doing what it's supposed to do? I think that's brilliant.
Awesome.
Mr. Levy, I see your hand is up. Please come and join this conversation.
I was playing chess with Lesetja. And as they say, never make the first move. So there's the first fundamental error I made. No, but yeah, it's a fascinating topic. And before I give my input, it's just so everybody has to understand I'm not a marketing person by a long shot. But have learned probably a lot of lessons. Not probably, I have learned a lot of lessons. It's a pity the marketing gurus are not here tonight. It would have been fascinating to hear what their input is. But anyway, we will, besides you, Pete. But I'm sure between us, there's a lot to share and a lot to learn always. So I think the first, thing you speak about market research, and I've been listening to you, and it's probably like a little way into some of it, a little way when someone's a little way into their business. So I'm still doing market research, probably differently to the way I did it when I started my business. And as Sondra said, it's probably more reliant on listening to what my clients have to say. Because if you look at your client profile and you look at those clients that you had serious success with, why you had success with them, and get feedback from them, as Sondra alluded to, you can start forming your own profile. But what happens before that? How do you get to that point? And there's that big why, and that is so important for you as a business owner to understand. Why are you in your business? Why not why you're in your business? Why does your business exist? And when you have clarity on that, it allows you to ask the right questions. It gives you direction. Otherwise, you're going to be a little bit directionless, if I can be so harsh. So I know everybody speaks about why and purpose, but it's really is powerful, because when you do know why you're in business, it helps you. And so I can use my own example. Where I'm coaching now compared to 7 years ago is different. If you ask me, the media gurus asked me 7 years ago, would I be coaching where I am today? I don't think I would have seen it, but funny enough, the core of my business and why my business exists has not changed. The conduit through which I do it has changed, and that's purely become through coaching. Has become, I don't know if osmosis is the right word, organically. So yeah, we keep evolving, and we grow, and I think that's infinite. We never stop. But as you grow, you find that you only find out that you're on the wrong path, okay, when you're on the wrong path. But you have to travel that journey. So I think it's keep listening to the market, keep listening to your clients, understand your market, and speak to people, not necessarily your clients, speak to people in the market and get their objective views. So it's about asking questions, and I think your why allows you to ask sort of more specifically. questions and the right ones. One thing I also just want to say is networking. And we probably don't do it enough in networking, but networking is like your own focus group that people pay thousands and thousands of rands for to do market research. But we actually have a network group that I can ask Lesetja, Lesetja, what is your interpretation of a good leader? Or what are the things that you've experienced with leadership that you didn't like or you did like? So I can get so much, and from Permelia and from Hendrick and anybody who's on the show. So there's a focus group. If I have a structured set of questions for the market that I'm going into, but it's not about me, it must be about the client. Because ultimately, I think everybody in business has some product or service that's making a difference out there to people. Because if you're not making a difference in any way, nobody's going to buy from you. It doesn't matter what you got. So, yeah. So I think, yes, it's not about us, it's about them. And if the product is making a difference to them and sorting out a problem, as you said, their problem, as you said, Pete, then, yeah, the chances of them buying from you are highly increased. So that's Stephen from Dare to Be Coaching and Beyond, who coaches leaders who are intentionally committed to growing their people to grow their business.
I love that. I love that, Mr. Levy. One thing is, like you said, listening, but two, using your community. The tribe is our community. And if we can use the resources in the community, because we come from all over the world, all over different backgrounds, different services, we're more likely to use each other's services, or not use each other's services, but similar services. So we have such a knowledge base that we can tap into. So a really good point, Mr. Levy. I love that. I love that. Mr. L, happy Monday. Come on in.
Happy Monday to you too, Sondra. Hi, Mr. Levy. Peter, Permelia, nice to see you again. And Hendrick, love it that you're always available on a Monday. I like to take this like right from the beginning. When you start your business or when you develop your product, you are not doing it for yourself. You are doing it for your market. And you cannot just come up with a product without researching whether it's going to work and develop it and say, I'll sell it. Who are you going to sell it to? Who's your target client? So research starts all the way from the beginning. When you think of developing a product, when you think of starting a business, you have to have that market research to see if I do this product, if I make this product, or if I open my business for this kind of service, is it going to work? And then you try it out. You get feedback, which you've got to ask for anyway, like Sondra does, all those questionnaires and all that. You ask, are you happy with what you are getting? And if they are not happy with what they are getting, you've got to twist it. You've got to change it to suit your client, to suit your customer, to suit the user of the product, or the end user, actually. I mean, there are a lot of companies that have started and they have crumbled because they didn't do their research properly. There are those companies that start their businesses because somebody else is doing it. I can do it too. And then they come up with a different pricing model to the origin, thinking that will sell. Meanwhile, it might be the quality that they're looking for. It might be they just love to buy products from that company. And I can compare chocolates. There are people that swear by Nestle chocolate, and there are people that just love Cadbury's chocolates. It doesn't matter what you say to them, that's their preference. Okay, now, why do those people love those chocolates. There's a historical thing behind it. It might be either they had a contact with a Cadbury's person when they brought out that kind of chocolate, or they've been consuming that since they were young. So there's always a reason why a person consumes this, and there's always a reason why a person will change from a product to another one. If for instance, in advertising, if I don't find out from my clients if my advertising is benefiting them, they can easily go to a competing radio station, because I'm not giving them satisfaction. They want to advertise because they want their product or service to be bought. And if we are not meeting that, then they will move. But then how do we overcome that? By going back to them and asking, did you get this? Did you get that? How did this happen? How did this work for you? And all that. And sometimes, even if they didn't get any sales from that advertising, the fact that you've gone back to them to research, to find out from them if they have had success or failure and how you can help them going further, they'll probably support you even more. But if you don't go and ask, if you don't research and twist and turn and change your product to suit your client, then forget it. It won't work, it won't sell. So you're just opening up your business for yourself, you know. This is Lesetja Mokou from Litmok, your business development agents.
Oh, Lesetja, I love that. And you had to go and mention chocolate, because I see Sondra was popping there in the chat. She was like, now we all feel like chocolate, which is exactly the case. I actually really feel like chocolate now. But what happens when you open up one of those Cadbury slabs and you tear open the packet and you break off that first piece and you take that bite? As you take that bite, you get a particular feeling, or you get a particular thought process. So it reminds you of something, or it reminds you when you were younger, or you had that chocolate on a date and you remember the date or the feeling you had, or, you know, and there's all these emotions that are attached to something as simple that is just a piece of chocolate. What does that person feel? Is it good? If it's not good, they're not going to buy the chocolate. So it has to be a good feeling. If you felt bad when you ate chocolate, then you wouldn't buy it anyway. So you get this good feeling. You crack open the thing, you take that first bite, and you get this feeling that overwhelms you. And just for that brief moment in time, all your problems just disappear. That's the key. Your problems disappear. If when somebody is talking about my service or my product, and they remember my service and they remember my product, and that feeling of I used that product and my problems just disappeared, how loyal do you think they are going to be as a customer when you come up with your upgraded product or your upgraded service? Because they're going to be like, oh my goodness me, a new version. Oh my goodness me, this will solve my problem even better, because this is the feeling I got when I got it the first time. So if we're taking people into account and not sales, please, for the love of all the universe, don't just take sales into account. Sales are created when people buy a product. Take the people into consideration and the sales will just happen. But for the love of mercy, please, sales, reports. Where's the people in that? You can only run that for so long before you run out of track. I mean, look at where's the BlackBerry now? They were solving a particular problem. They forgot to speak to the market. They didn't provide what the market needed. They just disappeared. Oof, no more BlackBerry. Could that have been avoided? Probably. Lesetja, I see your hand is back up again. Just have to unmute.
Okay. When you mention BlackBerry, it's one of those phones that one loved so much when they came in. And then, because it was the first phone where you could send emails from. But then Samsung came in and then took over because they failed to recognize the upgraded, if I can put it that way, the upgraded needs of the client. Nokia. What happened to Nokia? It was, I think Nokia is one of those phones that was leading in sales, and they took a dip. You know, so it's those things that you need to keep abreast of what's happening in the market. What do people need? And if you look at, and I'm not advertising them, but if you look at Samsung, they always try to keep ahead of stuff. There is now a few other new phones that are actually even cheaper, your Oppos and all that. But Samsung is still selling. And it's because they are always researching, they're always promoting, they're always giving away sample phones for people to test drive so that they can give feedback. And that is what you need to do. You know, if you don't do that, we'll not see you in the market anymore. Thank you, Peter.
I like that. I like that, Mr. Al. And like you said, they're always doing, and I'm actually Samsung all the way. Been pretty much my whole life Samsung girl. The teens can have the whole iPhones and all that stuff, but definitely that. But I have a question. Actually, the question was presented in the Facebook Live chat, and it was from Mr. Hendrick. But Hendrick said it's a little bit more challenging when you're a tech company to do market research. So can we help him brainstorm? Like, how would you do market research for technology? That's the purpose of the show, right? Is to help people figure out how to do this. Go ahead, Peter.
Unless you want to jump in, Mr. Levy.
Don't put this on me. I was hoping you were going to answer first, but I think, yeah, well, maybe we can answer it together. So
I think so.
the first thing that came to mind was tech's very broad. So how do you do research for a tech company? That's huge. That encompasses so many things. I don't even think we have time to note them. So I think the first thing in doing research, in answer to your question, Hendrick, is one has to be a bit more specific. So, you know, it's like saying, if I can give an example, we ask, as I work with leaders, I say, what is your biggest challenge in the market today? And then besides, of course, the global economic climate, they say my people. So, well, that's quite broad. What about your people? Tell me a bit more about them, because I don't even know then how to start answering you when you just say my people. So I think, yeah, one has to be a bit more specific. And then I think in the tech environment or any environment, there's always research to be had, depending on what you're offering and why you're offering it. And I'm not sure if you've watched, which I'm actually going to share on the Explore ProTech group, if you don't mind, Pete, is that it's an 18-minute video by Simon Sinek, you know, on the famous why. And he will answer a lot of your questions about marketing. And if you look at, he refers specifically, so coming into the tech space, Hendrick, it's if he's refers specifically, he uses Apple as the example. So Apple are more expensive than probably most of the other companies that do computers and iPhones and all these fancy things. Yet everybody buys from them. And one of his things was everyone else told the market what they do and how they do it, but Apple told them why they do it.
Yeah.
And then they built up a brand. Of course, it's not just that clear cut and simple, but that's when they were able to do it. And so people could buy computers cheaper from any of the other, but they seem to buy Apple. So they told them why they do things, because the last thing I'm going to say is, just coming off the back of what Lesetja said earlier, we all have a product and we all have a service. The mistake that sometimes we all make is that we think, first of all, that we're the first people to bring it out in the market. Okay. And there are very few people that bring out extremely new, innovative products, maybe besides the Elon Musks of this world. But actually, we actually all offer similar things. We never reinvented the wheel. And then it comes back to what Explore ProTech stands for, is we mustn't forget about us. We are also part of our product and our service. And we need to build relationships. And often that could be the difference between if Lesetja and I are offering the exact same service, what is going to then allow make someone decide to buy from either him and me? I suppose it depends who they feel they're comfortable with and who they get on with. So I don't think we should leave ourselves out of that equation either. But I think that's going a little bit off what you asked.
Awesome, Mr. Levy. That actually gives me a really great foundation, because we can take it back to making it simple. When you have a technical space, your technical product or service is designed to solve a very particular problem. So you need to find out who has that particular problem. If nobody has that particular problem, then you've got tech that is useless. Your tech will solve absolutely nothing for nobody. So go back to the beginning. I have tech. It solves a particular issue. Who does it solve that issue for? Those are the people I need to talk to. So if you function, it's a 1, 2, 3 steps, and you will actually find the people that you need to be talking to, because then you need to ask the questions of, how does this tech solve your problem? Does it solve your problem? Did it solve your problem in a much more timeous fashion? Did it solve you, or did it take longer? Is there a product on the market that you prefer because it worked better than this? Why? Those questions are questions that need to be asked, but they need to be asked to the right people, the people that have the problems that you're trying to fix. So doing your market research in it doesn't matter whether it's a technical space. It doesn't matter whether you're selling a piece of art. It doesn't matter what industry you're from. The basics are pretty much all exactly the same. So you can follow the same process, but do yourself a favor and modify the process to suit your own space. But don't go without a process. And the reason I'm saying don't go without a process is because a lot of companies start and they utilize the process to start. Then they think, great, I have a viable product. And then they stop the process and they just push the product to market. And they focus on the sales, they focus on the product, but they stop focusing on the people and they leave the process out of the equation. Hence, BlackBerry no more. They stopped the process. They stopped talking to the people. They didn't listen to what the people actually wanted, which created an opportunity for another space to step in and go, well, actually, we are listening to what the people want. And what you've got is not what they want. So what we will create is what they need. Step in of Samsung, which Lesetja was talking about earlier. So if we are in the market, even if it's in a tech space, if there is another tech company that is solving a particular problem and they've done their market research, but they've stopped, and their tech only helps somebody to a certain degree, and you've picked up on that, you can create your product to go those extra steps and actually solve the problem in a more efficient fashion. And they've missed the mark. They've completely missed the mark. So do your research. And when I say do your research, I mean speak to people and hear their feedback. Listen to their problems. I can fill a room with people and I have got no product. I've got zero product. I step into a room with a whole bunch of people and go, what are you battling with today? They go, oh, I'm battling with this. Oh, so if I made something to fix that, you would buy it? Yes, I would buy it. If it solved my problem, I would buy it. Great stuff. Tell me more about your problem. They will spill the beans. They will tell you exactly what your product needs to look like. I didn't even have a product when I stepped into the room. When I leave the room, I have ideas for 10 products because I can build this product will solve that person's problem. How many other people are there like that? Now you need to know. So do your research, speak to the people. Guaranteed, when there is a problem, not only one person is having it. There are a lot of people having the same problem. Hence, product, hence, sales. You've got to speak to the people first. And you've got to keep speaking to the people. Once they've used your product, how was it? Could it have done better? Could I change it for you? Stay with the market. Hendrick, I see your hand was up just after mine. You want to jump into this conversation too, please? Yes? No?
Just before Hendrick comes in, sorry to be sorry, but I think also one of the people we need who will give us some ideas is sometimes we need to look at the problems that we're having. And is there a product out there that solves our problem? And if I'm offering the same, what could I do better? So we can also listen, we can be part of our own market research.
100%.
Sorry, Hendrick.
Yeah, come on in, Hendrick. I know how much you love me volatiling you to speak, but I did want to address it because, like, yeah, yours is a little bit different than a lot of us who just do services. You do stuff. So yeah, let us know if this is helping you.
No, it's good evening, everyone. It's definitely I got ideas from it because the challenge is lately things are going a bit slow. Actually, slow is an understatement. In the last 2 months, I've lost. I got 2 big offers or 2 big jobs that we were supposed to do cancelled due to the state of the way things are going in the country, be it business and also where the mining industry finds themselves at the moment. So also trying to reach out to new clients is also a challenge, as most of them would rather be referred than just you calling them directly. So in our space, you get to do business if you've got more referrals than having to go out and market your business. So my question was actually coming from that. Thank you. That's Hendrick from Teresano Earth Movers in Mpumalanga.
You point to me, I point to you, Peter. Thank you, Hendrick, for clarifying the question, because yeah, I'm a lot like that. I'm very referral based, but those dry up. Like after a while, they're not coming in more. So how to yeah, I'm interested to see what Mr. L has to say. Come on in.
I was talking to one guy today. He is one of the best guys, but underrated when it comes to radio control, as in recording and doing what you want radio to do. He's one of the best guys. And we're talking about the equipment. And I showed him a piece of an equipment. It's a small mixer. And I'll not mention the brand. And he said to me, yeah, that you can get for 300. And the same size that he's got, he says it cost him about 35,000. Same thing, it'll work the same. But then there are 2 different qualities. And I said to him, so when guys go out and say we're going to DJ with their sound system, and he says, well, if you've got about 15,000, you can have full equipment and go out and DJ. But then for him, he's looking at equipment to the tune of about 500,000. They can all push sound, but different prices. Okay. And I said, well, what is the difference do you both get jobs? And he says, well, if you look at how it's going in the country now, people get jobs, one, by referrals, secondly, by price, and third, he mentioned something else. He mentioned a third thing. And my interest was on what he mentioned first, referrals. Even if it's a government job, it's got to have some referral with it. And we know how they work. So it's how do you get your business? So Hendrick, it might not be because you didn't pitch properly, because you didn't do a proper job or anything. It might just be the people that are beating you to the contract are people that are getting referrals. And I think what we now need to do, especially on our referral days, on Wednesdays, is try and solve these issues. Who can we refer you to where we know you'll be successful? I think that will solve the problem that we have or that Hendrick has. Because if we are not going to refer you to a person that's going to be a client to you or that will lead you to the right direction, then I think our referral cycle is not working properly. So I think we just need to up it. So Hendrick, it might just be that people are beating you not because of you, but because of the advantages they get. So that's just, it's what I got when I had this discussion this morning with this gentleman. Thank you.
Oh, awesome, Lesetja. We could try and fault find the space, but I mean, the reality is that we're functioning in a market that is very difficult to function in. And it happens to the best of us. We lose contracts. We lose them to other spaces that can either do them cheaper. 9 times out of 10, we get those contracts back because cheap is nasty. Cheap is very nasty. And we were talking about the quality of a product or a service. Like Lesetja said, you can buy the same equipment for 15,000, whereas the opposing equipment that is of great quality is to the tune of 500,000, but you can pay 15,000 Rand and get a basic version of it and deliver, but not deliver with the same quality. So, and I think that is key. I think that's something that you might want to focus on when you are stepping into a space and doing a proposal, is focus on the quality of what it is that you deliver. And focus on the fact that you actually get the job done, and that they won't need to bring in multiple parties and they won't need to bring in multiple contractors, because you pride yourself in these particular steps to keep them happy. A lot of people in that space, they just want to know, if I bring you in, will I need to replace you in 3 months? Is your team actually going to do what's required? And sometimes paying a little bit more is the name of the game. I personally, when I buy something, I don't really look at the price. I look at the product, and is the product going to deliver what it needs to deliver? So if you can focus on showcasing that you are the product and you deliver, then you might stand a better chance of maintaining those contracts. And we all know in this space that you work really hard at delivering that. Now you just need to show it. You need to show it off, which is easier said than done, but we know that you've been through the Ignite program, so you know how to show it off. So I think we should actually, this coming Wednesday, let's focus on that. Let's focus on that. We can do that as a community, which is great. Permelia, please step into this conversation.
Thank you very much. Yes, Sondra's about ready to voluntold me if I didn't put my hand up. But I'm just taking it all in because it's really very, very important. And also, I'm now thinking definitely of asking specific people, both practitioners and clients around the Healing Institute, and asking them those questions. So Sondra reached out to me and asked me about her workshop because I've been raving about it. And I was only too happy to give her a testimonial about it and how it's working for me. So yeah, I think that's really important. And I love what you said, Peter, about keep doing it. Don't just stop doing it. So, I mean, I did a whole bunch of market research when I was creating my business plan. But to be honest, I've stopped. So I need to go back and I need to look at it again. And I need to reach out to my community, like you, like Explore ProTech, reach out to my community and ask for your feedback. So I'll be doing that. Thank you. Oh, Permelia Parham, the Healing Institute. We are a virtual global hub of holistic practitioners. We are healing the world with love.
I love that. I love that, Permelia. And yes, I do like to volunteer sometimes because you all have valuable insight. So I think that it's amazing to hear from different perspectives and different types of businesses. You know, Hendrick is a more product-based, where Permelia is a service-based. I'm a service-based. Mr. Levy's a service-based. So getting those different insights is extremely important, because as a live YouTube show, we want to make sure we're covering the spectrum. I mean, of course, we can't cover everything, but we can use the resources in the room and cover as many things as we can by everybody giving insight, because market research for product versus service is probably going to be a little bit different. And services are going to definitely be a little bit different. So I think it's been a great conversation, Peter. We're out of time. Like, we got to wrap up. Time flies when you're having fun.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
So let's know what you do, Peter, in your final thoughts.
Well, I think in my final thoughts, you know, obviously we need to find our target audience. We need to find out which people are we going to be asking these questions. And if you don't know what questions to ask them, start by asking them what problems they have. Because finding out what problems they have will create the questions that you need to ask. So that when you speak to the next person, you're like, well, do you have this particular problem? Which is the same problem as the previous person had. And if they go, yes, well, does your problem happen like this? Yes. Does your problem happen like that? Yes. Now you've created a pattern. Speak to the next person. So find out from people what questions you need to be asking. Don't just sit in your office and go, well, I know it all. I'm going to create a whole bunch of questions. Rely on the people. The people will tell you what they need. They will tell you what they need. Sorry, Mr. Levy, I saw your hand went up there just briefly. I'm not
it's
too
just
sure
interesting. So it'll be, and I know this is crazy for me, but it probably will be 15 seconds, is that also sometimes we must ask the consumer, ask the user of the product. People are using the product similar to yours. Ask them what do they enjoy about the product? Do they have problems with the product? Again, for example, there's a lot of times I don't speak to leaders. I speak to the people that they're leading and ask them what their problems are, that they experience as leaders. And then it's quite interesting when you ask the leaders to see how they align.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love that. Sondra, I think we owe some thanks to some people in the background.
Yes, but I want you to say what Peter represents.
I represent a Picasso. I'm all over the place. Yeah, so you know what? I would be Peter from Explore ProTech. Our space is literally designed to pull together entrepreneurs from around the world, create a supportive space, a space where we can rely on each other. We can build in this space. The space is designed for people that are fun, authentic, caring, people that can build together, grow together, work together. And then it makes life a lot easier when we need to do things like market research and be surrounded by the right people that can answer the right questions. So Just makes life a whole lot easier. And let's not forget, I think the 29th, the last Thursday of the month,
Yep.
we are doing
Goslin this
Goslin
week.
event is coming up, and
Woo-hoo.
that's going to be really exciting.
Yep, I already put it in the comments on the live show,
Yeah.
and we'll make sure that it's in the show notes.
Mhm.
But yes, 11 a.m. my time, which is not your time, it's y'all's evening. But yes, this Thursday, last Thursday of the month, is Goslin. It was part of my announcements. Yes, we want to make sure we thank Somerville, who does a lot of back end work, including making sure the blog post is up and keeping Peter on track. Thank you, Somerville, and much more. And then Susan, who does our cover graphics. She does our show notes, and she makes sure that this gets published on Spotify. So make sure you follow us on Spotify and give reviews. And of course, please share our show and get more people involved. We love, like I said, I love bringing in questions from the live feed. That's why we do the show live, is so that we can answer people's questions and give them feedback and help them. The show is about that. It's about having a chat with entrepreneurs so that we can help each other grow. So I am Sondra Ray. I am the owner of Get It Done Coaching, and I help you reach your goals by creating bite-sized action plans and figuring out your strengths and weaknesses, outsourcing the rest, and getting things done. So we will, as Miss Nestine, our other fearless leader, says, we wish that all your entrepreneur dreams come true. We will see you same time, same